We've said it in an episode.
True. We are back to the warehouse for interview season. We've got a very special guest with us today. Let's talk Blitzball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, the podcast about Blitzball. I'm Boys, but lately about Blitzball. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey,
Interview
baby.
season's in full swing.
Full swing.
Oh, good pun.
Blitzball. That's good. That's good.
Oh, shit. We did it. Go watch Brendan and Chris's Blitzball video so you can see
Oh,
what
nice.
swings
Good
look
plug.
like.
Subscribe.
Oh, you're
Subscribe.
welcome. But today we have a very special guest, one we've been trying to get for a while. Mike's out already in anticipation, Brendan, so you want to start the music?
Hit it.
From Blitzball Battle Fill-In to Franchise League full-time, he's the Sultan of Swears, the King of Cuss, the Colossus of Shouts,
The Colossus of Shouts?
Dan Rourke!
The great
Yeah,
Dan
baby.
Pino. Hey.
Dude, I absolutely love it. I freaking love it, yo. I'm hyped up going into this, and I was telling myself going in, calm, cool, collected, say your piece, have a
Zendan.
good
We
time.
love Zendan.
I try to do Zen
No.
all the time. I feel like every warehouse tournament, I give myself some speech of calm, on some Zen shit, and then it just goes away within the first like 10
Yeah.
minutes. So
When people say Zen, you get excited because you think they said Zen. That's the main problem.
you know me well. You know me well. Peter Brennan, it is a pleasure to be here. I was telling you guys this ahead of time. Did not mean to dodge the show by any means. I do the classic Twitter request, respond back to a interview request if you want to say that, although that sounds so just superficial. And it's kind of lost in the wayside, but we're here now. I'm pumped. You guys are fucking awesome. I watched your interview with Cohen, and to be here. I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah.
We're happy you're here. It's always good to talk to you guys. Brendan and I, after every interview, I think we say when the other person logs off, we're always just like, fucking everybody who works at John Boy is just a great person. This is unbelievable.
you guys
I'm
have
coming at
disappointed us.
afterwards, bro. Not going in. Now I got something to live up to.
Well, go ahead. Heart rate starts spiking. Now you got to be funny. You got to be a nice guy.
Dude.
Yeah, after we're done recording, we give you a grade on how you did, too.
Yeah, that is fine.
Yeah.
We'll send you a full report.
Cohen
We have your
got a B
email.
minus.
Hopefully better than my actual warehouse performance in my life.
Hey, I mean, we talked about this a little bit off air, but we personally feel like you've been doing great. But you sort of mentioned that you're tired of people saying that you've been getting
Brendan?
better. What do you think about it?
Brendan, not an official question.
Oh, sure. All right.
Not an official question.
We got to ask you one question.
have an
before we really
official
dig in.
question
I'm sorry,
for
I'm sorry.
first question.
I got excited.
I'm ready.
Dan Rourke, what did you eat for dinner tonight?
What did I eat for dinner? Actually, it hasn't gotten to dinners yet. I eat
Okay.
so weirdly in my schedule, but I'll tell you exactly what I've had so far today. First
Yes.
thing I woke up,
Break it down.
I did the Dunk Kings meal.
Hell
which,
yeah.
They advertise for $6, but if you get oat milk with your coffee, it bumps it up to like $7, which
That's
kind
horseshit.
of changes the perception of how great the deal
Still
is.
not
but
bad though.
Not bad. I
It's
dabble
not
in the Dunk
bad.
Kings a little bit. Sometimes I don't get the box though. Sometimes they just give it to me in like a couple bags and it pisses me off. Honestly.
Sometimes it's
I've
in the
never
store,
heard of
as in yesterday, as in the last fucking week. Dude, the box was a thing for the first month. I have not gotten a Dunk Kings box. It was February last time I got a box. All they do is the bag. But no, that was my breakfast, and then
Was that
what
how do
else
you
did I-
take your coffee? You take it just oat milk, no sugar, anything like that?
salt milk. I always ice though. Always ice.
Always
not
ice.
hot
Nice
coffee.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, in terms of effectiveness, hot coffee I think is usually the way to go. But I don't know. I go for refreshing factor over.
I feel you on
effectiveness. But a couple soft pretzels loaded with salt, baby. Got this new fiber cereal I'm digging, which is called I think it's like a kosher cereal, I believe. I don't know. It's fucking good, dude.
Is it like
it's not,
Kashi?
It's not the magic spoon.
Ashigo, I think. Is what it's called.
Oh,
There it is.
Peter go. Peter knows his
Bang.
kosher foods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rosie
yeah.
Del Rey used to buy them for us all the time.
Yeah, word. It's banging. It's banging, and it certainly makes your system work. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it
But
Okay.
that's what it
It does.
advertises. I mean, it's the word.
Protein
yeah, no,
and fiber.
Mascot's just a big turd in a cape.
might as well be.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, bowl of cereal, a couple loaded salted up pretzels, Dunk Kings in the morning, and then we'll see what dinner is tonight. But I very much go with the flow, yo. Like whatever the brain is thinking, as I'm sure
Wait,
you
you
guys
straight
can
up
tell.
skip lunch?
Not
Was that the salt?
no, I
pretzels?
don't. I do lunch, but my lunches are weird. Like I had the Dunk Kings early, that was around 8. That's obviously breakfast. Soft pretzels plus a cereal was like my lunch, and that was probably
Okay.
this is where it's weird, quote unquote. My lunch is late. I always do like a 3 o'clock lunch, and often
Jesus.
because I was always watching the Michael K show, and I always coincided my lunch with 3 o'clock start with the K show. Who cares about that? But yeah,
Wait, so where do
summer
you
was,
just go out in the street and go get a pretzel from like a vendor?
actually no. I bought a loaded up bag of like 18 from the from Acme, which is right next door to my crib.
Oh wow.
Hell
To
yeah.
dox myself, but
There it is. There's only one
yeah,
Acme.
yeah, it's got a bag of 18. That's what I consider home cooking. I was telling
Okay.
Rob Stracco,
Oh yeah.
was telling him the other day, like, man, I've been, I'm growing up, I'm cooking at home. He's like, oh, what are you making? I'm like, I got these Tyson spicy chicken patties. Heating them up and
You
like,
bought it at the store. You had to heat it up at home. That counts in a way.
dude, yeah, and like I'm doing it up. I got a brioche bun. I put some
Oh
lettuce on there,
yeah.
Brendan.
Okay.
Too. Like, that's not home
Gourmet.
cooking, So
That's cooking.
Gourmet.
slowly but surely, we're making progress.
Okay, good.
All right,
I'm glad, Peter, you brought me back to that because I knew Dan would have some good food insight for us. Not as weird as Drew Davis's tendencies, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
Great episode. I suggest everybody go listen to Drew's episode. It's
I'm gonna
great.
tell you something about Drew Davis, who I love that MFer, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
love him
yeah.
to death. Obviously, first teammate, and he really is a good ass dude. That MFer, he came here sick as a fucking dog, and I'll tell you, the warehouse flu lives on because of Drew Davis. Everybody got sick, bro. I had and I don't know if you guys know, I was in Arizona for me, Jolly Rose, Anthony, our sales guy, and Matty Mass. We all went to Arizona for spring training
Yeah.
days.
This is the side of the famous Yankee T-shirt incident.
Yeah, exactly. We can
Yeah.
definitely get into it. Yeah, no, dude, plane ride. I'll tell you, I'm not a huge plane guy at all to begin with. Plane ride in economy with a sinus infection,
Ooh.
not ideal.
Yeah.
So while I love Drew Davis, he got everybody
What
sick.
tournament did he get
I
everybody
also
sick
don't
in?
blame him. No, I would have hopped in that plane too. I ain't missing a Blitzball tournament.
Yeah,
For
fair.
anything. So I don't blame him.
Oh, so that was for BB6. Then he got everybody sick.
Yeah,
Or it's just gonna happen to every tournament anyway.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm also not gonna blame Drew because no matter what, I was catching some sort of a fucking plague from that plane.
Some sort of a plague.
Yeah, BB6 a couple weeks ago, obviously, and I say this again, instead of ahead of time, you guys gotta watch me on spoilers, bro, because like I'll get yapping, and all of a sudden it's BB6.
Yeah.
Did just record it. Obviously, can't talk about that, but
Sure. But you were more or less you weren't upset with your performance.
I don't even want to say that on air.
Okay,
But
look at you go.
You know
See,
what?
that was a
You know
test,
what?
and you passed. Good job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
okay.
big deal. Just won the MVP.
I wanted to start going into it too.
No, what was the unofficial question you were getting to that we can now make official?
Yes.
I mean, I just want to talk about how you felt about your warehouse career in general so far, your trajectory, where you've been going. We feel like you've been doing better, but you don't like the narrative of people saying like, "Oh, he's improving."
Right, and I don't have a problem with people saying that because I like to think it's true, and it is true. Like I've definitely gotten better. It's more so for me that it's been going on too long in a sense with myself, where
Sure.
I haven't given people enough reason to say anything other than just, "Oh, you've gotten better," which those that might be a newer viewer of Warehouse or whatever, like I know you guys are aware of this time in my life. Jeans and boots days, like we're not coming from very far. It doesn't take much to improve from there,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the main thing was, well, I guess it was BB4. Walk off homer was truly like one of the greatest moments of my life, but it was also borderline a curse because next turn going into BB5, I felt like not like I felt like the man, but like every time I came up to bat, I was saying, "Yo, all right, I'm here. I can be clutch. I'm capable of hitting homers. I'm capable of being at least on offense because pitching's a whole nother thing, and it almost drives me more crazy when I do bad in pitching because I consider myself actually like I should be a good pitcher,
Right,
but
right.
offensively, I've been awful. So when I had the home run and just like an overall like somewhat decent tournament, I went into BB5 being like, "Here we fucking go."
Mm-hmm.
And then
You're waiting for your big breakout season.
yeah, at least just to be like a competent player with the bat didn't happen. And I think, BB5 was the first time we didn't even make it to semis, which that fact bothered me when it comes to like the Woogas. I was before the Yankees went to the World Series and win, but I always call this like we're like the Aaron Judge Yankees. We were always just ALCS and out, semifinals, and that's it.
Right,
We were
right,
gone. BB5, not only was I not great, we didn't even get past. I think we lost baggage, I believe, in like the first round. We didn't even get to semis.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I haven't won is like, I ain't gonna lie, guys, it kind of drives me fucking crazy. Like, it drives me insane.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Jimmy's so good.
He is really great. I
That's
feel like he didn't have his best tournament in BB5, if I remember correctly. Granted,
Yeah.
there's only been
In
in
what
two of them.
sense?
I guess compared
Right.
to
Oh,
BB4.
sorry. I thought you were talking Jimmy O'Brien.
No, Jimmy.
I was like, what are you fucking talking
Yeah,
about?
he easily
He
had his
had an
best year ever, career
unbelievable
year.
tournament.
He was nuts. He was nuts. Jimmy too, though. I mean, Jimmy's incredible. And the thing is with the warehouse, and you realize this, how quickly the games go by. Because I get so amped before every single tournament. And it's like it's such a small. There's 2 points, but one, it just goes by so quick. It's 3 days, and it's man, something I was truly for months geared up to do. It's over within a couple of days. The
Yeah.
sample size is so small. It's like if you have one bad game, you kind of come out of the tournament feeling like, man, I did shitty. But then you watch it back, and this is like from like I would like to think like Jimmy's perspective. I think if I remember correctly, BB5. His only bad game was that like I think Baggage hit him decently in playoff game. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
They
he
maxed
only
out.
played like 3 or 4 games. So like that one inning, that one
Yeah, it
moment
happens so
stands
quick.
out.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not happens so quick.
for sure.
It's such like a large part of what like the entire tournament is because it's you don't play that many games. So,
Right.
you know
And
what
for
I
the
mean?
audience, it feels much longer because we're watching the whole season as if it's like one team, but it's 8 of them.
Right.
You know.
And watching it back, it feels long for me too, y'all. I'm like, damn, when's this fucking game where I did that? Or
Right.
I don't want to talk too much about the walk-off format because I like to be a humble dude or whatever, but it truly was the best moment of my
Dude,
fucking life.
fuck it.
It
Who
would have been.
cares?
Yeah, that
When
is fucking
when I
crazy.
was waiting for that,
yourself
I'm
up.
like, dude, bro, that was like, when's this coming out?
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that makes people like watching YouTube stand up off their couch and like clap. Like it's crazy that anything on YouTube makes me do that. It's nuts.
Yeah, dude. I just would like to have more of those moments, Brendan, and not just one, two. Right now, it's going on my tombstone, bro. That's all I got.
That's a great thing to have on your tombstone. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I
That
guess.
and the salted pretzel.
Yeah, word.
Wow.
Well, Peter, do you want to rewind it real quick?
Sure.
Do
What
a
did
bit
you
of-
want
play
me to
the song
rewind
again.
it to?
I think I want to get a little bit of history on Tan here because I don't know if you know how he became a Jam member or not, but I'm not really familiar. If you want to dig into
Is that
that
what
a
we're
little
doing?
bit. Yeah, we're interviewing.
Is it because Ryan did all this last week? Because
I-
I don't think this is something we usually ask people.
I know, but I'm genuinely curious. I want to go chronologically, chronpod.
All right, go ahead.
It's not that interesting, Brendan, I'll tell you. But if
Then
you
let's
want the
blow
story,
past
I'll give you the story.
I applied for a job and I got it.
Nailed
Pretty
it.
much, I made a Yankees fan page.
Okay.
That's a story. But no, always a long story short guy because I'm not a good storyteller. But pretty much,
It ends up being long anyway.
usually, didn't go to college besides a month of community college. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do with my life. A Yankees fan page called Yankees Avenue.
Hell yeah.
Doing that, kind of also simultaneously tweeting a lot in like the Yankees community. That's how I got to know Jimmy. And all of a sudden, 2021, February or January 2021, they're still very much like on the come up things. Started company like hardcore still like we're still in the Bronx office obviously, and Jimmy posts about hiring editors or interns, or just like looking for people to join. And I applied officially, and I also DM'd him saying, "Yo, like, listen, I don't know, never used Adobe Premiere. Don't know much about the actual industry truly, because I mean, all I could say is I have a Yankees fan page, but in the end, like, who gives a shit?" But
I got passion in spades.
it was like I'll bust my ass for you, pretty much. I
Yeah.
was like, I could probably find a message like I'll grind my ass for you. And that was really the only thing that I could offer, truly too. Like I knew if I got the opportunity, like I would grind, right? So, anyways. Also, forgot to mention Kyle Condor, my boy. He been trying to get me on for like the longest time when I was still working at when I dropped out of community college. I forgot to mention this. I worked at Verizon for like 2 years. That was my gap, like
Okay. In
between high school, between John Boy. Yeah, it was
until like you're
working
like
at Verizon
20-ish or so.
Yeah, and quick story on that. It was like watch The Wolf of Wall Street, and I have ADHD like crazy. Shocker if you. And I get like these fixations. Watch Wolf of Wall Street, and I was like, I'm gonna get a fucking sales job, fellas. I'm gonna get sales. And I was seeing another about like working at Verizon. It's technically not Verizon. It's like an authorized retailer, but like I was wearing a suit and shit, making
Hell
like
yeah.
getting like $75 a day, like selling phones, and I thought I was fucking Jordan Belfort. I was doing that. I'll like post on the Yanks app and like building up my resume. Anyways, start working at John Boy February 2021. Intern, $15 an hour, which was freaking awesome. I mean, dude, that felt like I was fucking rich because I was going from work.
First paycheck as a kid after high school is nuts.
Yeah, bro. And like when I was, I mean, not that I was making any money for Verizon, but even like before that, I was working at a deli, and I was making $7 an hour cash. All of a sudden, I'm working intern. Technically in baseball, $15 an hour. I'm like, yo, word. And then it started to go well, and got bumped up to $20 an hour as an intern. And long story short, brought on full time. 2 months later, I want to say, or 3 months later, was when I got asked to fill in for. It's crazy, the circle of life factor. Like I was asked to fill in for Jimmy North. Like my first ever warehouse tournament was one. By the way, you go back and watch BB1. I'm not sure the last time you guys did, and this is a credit to obviously Jimmy and like the everybody who's been
Yeah.
involved in the warehouse when it comes to the production of it. Holy shit, did that place look like a fucking dump if you go back to
Yeah,
watch
it is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
even just aesthetically, it looks so much
Oh
worse
yeah,
than it
the
does.
way
It
for
looks
the
great
quality
now.
of the warehouse. Yeah, the quality of the warehouse or just like the lighting. I mean, the lighting is. Anyways, no, first Blitzball tournament was kind of just a very casual thing, which it truly was at the time, at least the way I perceived it. Now Jimmy had the idea long term of like this is gonna be something nuts. Jimmy's amazing with that shit. He's just
Mm.
we'll probably get into that, but no, teammates with Drew Davis, Beans and Boots. I was
Hell
fucking
yeah.
awful, and this is like the rest is history, whichever way you want to
So
go
you had
with
already
that.
been working there at that point when you filled in and played with
Yeah,
Drew.
so
Okay.
it was February 2020, February 3rd actually to be exact. My first day starting as an intern. Uh,
Crazy you
what?
just know that.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like 3 months later. Is that
Crazy
anyway?
that you just know that off the top of your head.
Dude, I'm weird with dates, and it goes back to baseball, bro. It'd be like
That makes sense.
I can remember the same day I had a ham sandwich when I was 11 because I know A-Rod hit a 2-run shot that day. You
You
know,
had like those
like,
Okay.
associations.
See
Yeah.
that,
yeah,
but that I get.
I
Like
think it's like a
that
slight
because like
on the spectrum thing, maybe. You
Maybe.
know, like,
Maybe.
I'm the same way. Like if I'll remember like very important dates based on like I'll remember what outfit I was wearing and what everybody else was wearing for like very
Yeah.
specific dates in my life.
right,
It's the
exactly.
same
That's
thing.
Must be a thing with like people
how.
with neurological disorders that focus because I had the same thing
Unbelievable.
too. I have it too. I'm also with you
All
guys. But
right, I'm
I
backing
I
off.
focus on weird things other people don't focus on for sure. I think it's a
Sometimes it
normal
makes you
thing.
feel cool. It's like, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I remember ham
Well, yeah.
sandwiches.
Well, it's like you say that, and then it's like my wife will be something. I'll be like, "You don't remember? Like you were wearing
You
that
remember the
pink
important
shirt, and I
things.
was wearing the green one." And she's like, "You're a fucking weirdo, Pete." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you."
Speaking of, I was actually, I think I was wrong. It was, so I started 21, so it must have been, I think Blitzball Battle was winter of 22. So it was actually, I've been there for like a year as an intern.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no, what did I say? It was a few months after I got brought in full time, so that adds up. But yes, I'd already been there for a little bit, and yeah, Drew Davis, and then next thing you know, I'm like, well, I had my teammate Tom, who he was actually cool as shit. I haven't
I
heard
remember
from him
him. Yeah.
since. Yeah, Blitzball
Rivalry.
Battle too. He was like the first dude I think to do the behind the back pitches,
Yeah.
Oh,
strikes.
really? Okay.
Yeah, and then before you know, I'm like teammates with Trevor Plouffe. That was a lot of pressure for fellas.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh man, because Plouffe, dude, he was. I don't know how much backstory you guys have on this. You might, but for the viewers maybe that don't know, when I first got brought on, it was really to be Plouffe's guy. I don't know if you remember the show Sequence.
Yeah.
This is yeah. So Sequence, those that don't know, is pretty much Plouffe taking plays or whether it's from his past like career highlights or just random things going on in baseball, and he would like do a deep dive analysis on it. Honestly, you should bring it back because it was freaking awesome. I got brought on basically to edit that, and I was like pretty much Plouffe's guy the first, like while I was an intern, pretty much. So factor in the yips that I already have by default going to the web, well, and then I was teaming with Trevor Plouffe. Found that out, bro, and I'm like, picture like a Rocky montage in the gym at fucking like Planet Fitness. I'm like, I'm not letting Plouffe down. Like, literally, I was
I
listening,
remember that
like,
narrative too. They played that up pretty well in the edit too.
oh yeah, dude, I was listening to like freaking so I was like listening to like Murder on My Mind in the gym, getting hyped for Blitzball. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's
But
where
it's
I
hard to
was
play
at.
anything or do anything with someone you respect like that. I get that.
Oh yeah, and just in general, man, like it does get in your head quickly, like, and sometimes in a good way of like, I take it so seriously, and like, if you ever need to like, not that you ever need to justify something you enjoy, but I'll think to myself too, it's like, hype for this, but also, yo, like, there is some sort of reason to want to do well. Like, a lot of people watch this shit,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's like, I'd be lying, and it's quite clear this isn't, a shock to anybody. Like, I don't sleep over fucking, especially football. Now, all the other tournaments for sure. Like, I love ball and play, love slap ball. Um,
Yeah,
floor ball, the energy is awesome. Blitzball is up
it's your
here
main.
though,
It's
yo.
your main. Yeah, they
Blitzball,
all
and
kind of say it too
I
that
didn't
that's
know I
like
was
the
fucking
crown
old
jewel.
enough. Yeah. So I mean, I love it.
Man,
I love it. What can I say?
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Who's your favorite teammate? 'Cause we're talking about how many different ones you had. Who's your number one? Let's get the other ones mad.
Number one's Jimmy for sure. Jimmy North. I mean,
Oh,
Jimmy, yo,
with the bullet, nice.
no
Easy.
doubt about it. I mean, like he's my guy, and in terms of the whole improving thing and taking like the next step, which there's so many more steps to take. But I do think BB4, not just because like the homer, but being teammates with Jimmy. Kind of what I was saying before, like with Plouffe. And this is to no fault of Plouffe, just my own brain working the way it does. Crazy pressure. I was in my head a lot with Jimmy. Yo, like I want to be cliche and be like, let me be myself.
Sure.
Cracks me up. Some by the
He
way,
does,
like,
though.
some of the comments on the Blitzball Battle 4 were hilarious. It's like, and I love it because it's all well intentioned, but it's like you can tell Dan never had somebody believe in himself the way Jimmy North did. I'm like, okay, I love nice
Like digging a little too
around me.
deep.
Just kind of suck at Blitzball, like relax. But yeah, no, like Jimmy's my guy, and I'd fucking go to war
Yeah.
for him. Move number 2, just because he's my guy. I mean, like
Sure.
I say I'll take a bullet for a lot of people, but like true, like if you're my dog, you're my fucking dog.
Yeah. But
and,
Jimmy
like,
North,
probably Drew
he
Davis.
seems like the most patient man on earth too. Just like doesn't care. He's really good and is a great competitor, but is just like kind of like an aw shucks type of dude at the end of the day too.
Yeah, and because it's like it's
What?
sometimes, yo, I don't even. But when it comes to
Get
being a teammate, that really is how he is. Especially, yo, even if you remember before, I believe he wasn't my teammate, and I was, doing my thing, tweaking on the mound, throwing a million balls, and he came out to me just to calm me down. And like
Yeah.
that is the kind of relationship we have and shit. And there's been very rare, but like in the 4 or 5 years I've known him, if there's like, I'm not a very open person when it comes to like feelings and emotions and all that shit. But like the one time there's something going on in my personal life, like Plouffe, because I see him all the time in baseball season because of BT.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll have legitimate, like as if he's from like my older brother
Sure.
conversation. So I mean, he definitely plays that role a little bit. And also I do again got to shout out my guy Tom, who I haven't spoken to, and I think he left the warehouse.
We're reaching out through this show right now. Tom, please get back in touch with
We
me.
actually-
We're begging you.
Not to get too behind the curtain, our first impressions of each other was not great. Like the first night, the orientation, which we'd always do, like the tournaments. It's usually Thursday through Sunday we play the games, and then Wednesday
Right.
night, Wednesdays everybody flies in. Wednesday night we'll have the orientation at a hotel. Me and Tom Gannon, is my Blitzball Battle 2 tournament, the rivalry. For those who don't know, we did not get along that well, and it wasn't until like I think maybe we won like game 1 or we ended up going to the semifinals, and it was the class of just like. You win, you get along. Like,
Or
and
you
I-
give him Stockholm
dude,
syndrome.
Yeah, and like I always talk about that even with the Yankees. Not to get off track here, but I'd be crazy in a way where it's like Yankees could be on a fucking 2-game losing streak. They're not hitting. They're like, oh man, like the vibes of the team are so bad. I'm like, no fucking shit. They
Yeah,
should be. If
right.
you lose, the vibes are bad. If you win, the vibes are good.
That's
You know,
all
like-
it comes down to always.
Always just comes down to performance, bro. Which is why I tweak so much because my performance is usually fucking ass. That's how I feel.
I mean,
It's so funny you say that too, because I feel like a lot of people who like I can only speak for myself, right?
Mm.
I feel like a lot of people who watch this is like, why is Dan like not controlling himself, like with getting angry at himself? And I just sit here reading these comments and like, you're telling me you wouldn't react the same fucking way that he's doing
Yeah.
right now? Because I would do the exact today. I accidentally shaved off my beard. It was
I didn't know if we'd bring this up on the
we're
podcast.
bringing it up.
Thank
Thank you. It was a total accident. I went to like trim down. Usually I trim the beard and then I'll like trim down here like to skin level. But I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to do that first today. Took the fucking guard off and just went like this. And I was like, well,
You had a Marshall from How I Met Your Mother moment.
I guess we're shaving it all off for the first time in
Once you
10
make that
years.
first little slip up, you gotta. And I don't have much experience, obviously, if you can tell. I usually obey the old Yankee way, at least. Today,
The old Yankee way.
it's funny you mentioned that. Dude, I was like, I need to get a haircut soon. Like my shit's getting a little long, and when I
throw it
do, I go to my one guy Martin. He's the man, and he shapes me up, as they say. And I usually include taking it
Yeah.
off. And I like the way I look after it. I was like, all right, I can't get a haircut till this weekend, but like my beard's looking a little bit mangy. Let me try to do this myself. And my plan was to like shape myself up, not get rid of it entirely.
Sure.
Right.
You guys can probably see how that went, as I am now entirely clean shaven, and it was just not. It's like, oh, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good, and then all of a sudden, like I meet the slight wrong angle indentation over here.
It's like,
oh,
gotta
see
take it all
later.
off. Oh,
Little
well.
baby facing it, bro.
But that's exactly what it is.
Mustache off, bro.
And the reason I bring this up is because I, Peter Del Rey, for the record,
Mhm.
have been beating myself up about it literally all day long. And it took until I got home to my wife for her to be like, Pete, You already have 5 o'clock shadow. Like you're gonna be okay. You'll be fine by Friday.
Like Austin Wells, dude. They always make the joke about how like he shaves in the morning and it's back. I
Yeah,
swear, dude.
yeah.
Like, I don't know you guys before this in terms of face to face. That's my good beard. What you have right now, Peter. Like that's me.
It looks like you don't grow facial hair the way we're looking at you right now. But I guess it's fresh.
Dude, I really don't, bro. And like I was so disappointed in my shaving capabilities earlier today that like I feel like I ended up shaving skin. That's how much I was just like we're going back to default, baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You
But
know?
yeah, I feel like people are lying to themselves if they're saying like, "Hey, if you go up," when I play Blitzball with Brendy, when he comes up to, like, I live in New Jersey, Brendan lives on Long Island. When Brendy comes up to New Jersey, and we play, and I'll like walk 3 guys in a row, I'm on the mound going like, "Peter, you fucking suck ass. What are you doing? Why are you
Granted,
embarrassing?"
Peter,
And this
from what
is
I
with
found-
just friends. Don't you dare, Brendan.
No. I'm just saying that we were at a disservice because the actual Blitzball strike zone is like twice as big as the one we were playing with that day. I just want to be clear.
That's-
It is much
yes.
bigger than you think.
Dude. At least just like going off of what you think. I don't know what your guys' strike zone look like, obviously, but when you think of what a traditional
small.
strike zone is, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, compared to like a blitzball, my stance with like when I used to be like crouched down like crazy, it basically goes up to my chin.
Yeah.
But yo, what you're saying, Peter, 100%. And I think some people that don't know me, and this is totally fair because they truly they don't know me. You watch the Blitzball stuff and you assume like I'd beat my wife if I had one. You know, like I look like a domestic abuser in the warehouse, and like I get that. It's such a thing where, and this applies to the Yankees as well. And the only two things it applies to, anybody could say this, but like I promise, that's the only place I act like that. And the reason being is, I feel all philosophical or nothing, but sports are kind of the only thing in my life that I feel like truly are defined by win and loss.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
delusional when it comes to life. Like I'm an and even with the Yankees and in general, like I'm not out till I'm out.
Sure.
I apply it to the Yankees. I apply it to everything in life. And in life, it works because in life, you know, you're not out till you fucking, you know, the beater ain't coming no more. You know, you're living, you're alive. With sports, bro, like lose. Like if your season's over, that's that.
It's
You
over,
can
yeah.
react. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
that's the appropriate way to react to disappointment in my opinion, because like
Right.
you lost and like I
For example,
quantify
if you
also.
had no reaction, then did you care while you were playing at all?
Right.
Right. It'd be like
Well-
if somebody came to me right now and gave me a crystal ball and says like, "And your life is going to be an L. You're going to fuck everything up, and you're not going to come through the way you should."
It'd be a crazy
That's
crystal
what
ball.
I'd be like, "Fuck, that's not good." Like, what do I want to be like? Let's go.
Right.
That's fantastic. I'm thrilled that I fucked up so hard. You know, it's like,
Well,
and
like,
that's some cool because like the only place you really can know when you lost, and if you know you lost,
black and
you
white.
should know.
Yeah.
You know?
well, I mean, like, also just going to speak philosophically, sports really are inherently unserious, right? So you being overly dramatic to add to it, it's a really good way to like get out frustrations, right? Like, oh, maybe I can't like at work if I get passed up for a raise, I can't be in the middle of the office being like, but to go out to play blitzball or baseball or soccer or whatever you go to do, you make a little mistake, you can overreact a little because you know at the end of like the game doesn't matter anymore. You're not going to go, I don't like, I'll go home and I'll like beat myself up for a little bit and then like I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and it's like it never happened.
100%. And like, this is why I keep tying it to the Yankees, but the thought process is very intertwined. So I'm just going to bring this up. I'm the type to, you know, Juan Soto leaves, I wish him death. The way I feel
Is there a
about
but?
that, we're getting there. I think.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly what you're saying, Peter. Is by default, it's not that serious.
Right.
So it's like, while the floor or the ceiling of my emotions, relatively speaking, is extremely high. I'm gonna fucking lose it, and
Yeah.
that's just
Right.
how
Well, you feel like you were wronged when he left, I'm sure.
like. Yeah, and honestly, I'm off the Soto thing, Brendan. We don't got to keep talking about him.
Sounds like we're not.
Chris isn't here.
We don't got to keep talking about him. I'm not even referring to my name anymore. In J&B videos, I'm starting to refer to him only as Snake. That is his name. But,
Sounds like a guy who's over it.
like all contained within sports, whether that's the Yankees or Blitzball. It doesn't leave the warehouse. It doesn't leave the watch parties I do on the Yankees. Like I'm not gonna go out and start fucking cursing off my neighbors, telling them to go fuck myself.
Not a hothead in general.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like at the very least, fellas, that's how I rationalize it.
Sure.
So
I mean,
let people into my brain a little
unfortunately,
bit,
it
whether
is
that's right or
entertaining.
wrong.
And I'm not trying to. It's just like what comes out of you, and you're not trying to do it. But that's what makes it entertaining too, because it's like a guy who is just 100% being himself, and I think that's what comes through the screen, and I appreciate that.
That's another thing too. Go ahead, Peter.
No. I was gonna say bingo. He hit the nail on the head.
No, I appreciate that. And that's like, what's the L of it? Like, what is, if I'm tweaking, now there's moments where I'll tell you, I don't want to come off like I'm thrilled with everything I do.
Yeah.
When I get into this, when I break stuff in the warehouse, that fucking sucks. Like, I really, the hole in the, shit, we could probably just, there's probably 4 or 5 incidents, but like the hole in the, like the hole, what is it, the ball and play thing I put a hole in. That's lack of self.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
That's like caveman shit. That's not of the human race as we know it today. That is
Right.
It probably
back in
was
the
much
day.
different in the room than it was watching it. Because watching it,
Right.
it's
Good content.
funny. I really think it's funny.
good
But
content.
I understand, like, maybe Jimmy's like pissed off if you break equipment or whatever, and
It almost makes you feel more bad because Jimmy's never pissed off about it, and they're so nice to me.
Right,
Like,
right.
and
Because
Sam
you
too.
don't
Like,
mean it.
dude, this is not a spoiler. The only thing I'll say about BB6, and this is not a spoiler at all, because I'm gonna tell you, I freaked out one moment during BB6.
Okay.
Wow, big surprise. And gave me a hug afterwards. It's so funny the way they treat me. And I do love it. Like, in part, it's like, they look at me like a zoo animal, but also they kind of know how I am by now, and I appreciate that.
Right.
But we were just talking about with
Breaking shit.
breaking shit. Yeah, more. What else were we doing? Give me more specific. What were we just talking about?
Getting hugs.
And hugs. I don't know. It'll come
You
back.
said
Well,
about ball and play.
being okay with. I a lot of the shit, all of it almost. I have no problem with the way I act because it's just real and how I am. That doesn't excuse, like, again, going back to where it's just sports and it's contained within sports. When you break something, it leaves sports. Like, I shouldn't be breaking shit, because then that means, you know, you got to replace the fucking stupid ass ball and play strike zone or the.
Right.
What else have I broken, fellas? I've broken other shit too. I feel like,
I think
dude, the poor Rourke 5000 not able to use in BB6. I smash it in a scrimmage, Brendan and Peter, in a scrimmage.
No.
I will tell you, Cohen. I think half tongue in cheek, but he was kind of giving me some lip over that. It's like, you can't destroy the Rourke 5000. Like, that's your baby. That's your baby. Like, you can't do that. And I said, Cohen, Rourke 5000 was destroyed on what it was built on. And that's emotion. So it was kind of like a full circle life. That's my own
really
personal
was.
property. That's my own personal property. Like, that's fine. When I break Tomboy stuff, if you ever notice, like, I think one of the other times when I broke the Blitzball strike zone, I think I like swung and then out of
Yeah, like one of the clips fell off or something.
like a backswing and I smashed or whatever. I'm out the shop, bro. I hide. Like, I'm embarrassed by it. Like, I immediately apologize to Jimmy after. I apologize to Sam. That's the one area where I'm like, all right, you look like a tool, and regardless of how you look, that's just not right to do. So.
Right. And again, it's funny for us because we're also like not the ones there waiting for it to get fixed. Like, we jump right to the next pitch. So it doesn't matter, but you have to sit there and like sit in it and wait for it to happen. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. You guys just see the cut. You guys just see
the cut.
Yeah.
Right to the next pitch.
When it's kind of like classic old, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, and nobody ever says that to me. But like, when people are nice to you after you've been a dick, it almost is worse
because they're still acknowledging it in a way,
Yeah, it's like, don't accept this from me. Like,
no, you should think better of me.
I am a piece of shit right now. Like,
Right. Dan, I feel like you and I are the same person. It's really quite interesting because everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, I feel that way too.
No, part of me wants to say, like, God bless you, I wish you luck. I don't know what I'm
Peter,
doing.
have you gotten that big crystal ball that says you're going to get a big L in life recently?
I did.
You did? Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't think I want the crystal ball, dude. Would you guys, you wouldn't want to know what's coming in life. I mean,
no.
That classical question, what is it like? You like have a book of your life. It's like, I wouldn't want that.
I guess there's the argument of like, it's the journey too. Like, there's some movies that start with like the ending, I guess, and you still want to watch the movie.
Yeah, movies suck though.
Peter famously does not like movies.
You know the story of Anakin Skywalker, but you bet your ass I'm still watching episode 3.
Maybe so. This is a good argument against that. So maybe I would want to know.
But yeah, I don't know.
It would freak me out if I knew what day I was going to die, though. That would be
That
wild.
I'm so good. And not just day, like relative time span. Like I wouldn't even want to know. Don't tell me even 2080, bro. I want to live to 125.
Yeah, it could be useful. Could be useful information.
Could, because on the flip, if you know, and you
You just do anything. I mean,
know
that's
what they
why
would
you
say,
die.
like,
Yeah,
you're
I don't know.
supposed to live like that every day, anyways. Well, okay, pal.
Okay,
I'm gonna
Val.
I'm gonna jump out my window right now because I might die tomorrow.
Okay, so we're talking about the emotions, which is good because in my intro for you, I did do like the Sandlot thing. I don't know if you noticed. It's like the
What?
Sandlot when
Right
they were
up.
doing the
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask.
right.
What was the
And you
significance
double it up.
behind?
You're like the Sultan of SWAT, or like when they repeat.
Yeah, yeah,
What I
Yeah,
said.
exactly. Joe, I watched it today to make sure I got it all at the right spots.
That's one
So
of the
a
works for me
lot
because
of
that was
it,
one of the
most
few
of
baseball
it,
movies I've seen, which is sad on my part.
right.
But I have seen that one.
Most
That's
of it
good.
had to do with like
Get into
cussing,
that list that you have
right?
seen, by the way. But go on, Peter. Sorry.
It's not a great image for most people. Where it's like, oh yeah, the Sultan of Swears, the King of Cuss, the Colossus of Shouts, right? Not not really what you want to be known.
But
And on my Instagram,
well
Peter,
written.
so
Well, I will say this: you've cut it down a lot in the more recent tournaments. The swearing. I think that we had an episode one time where we like did an over under on your swears, and like by the end of it, we were like, damn, we should have done the over under for Nikki. Like Dan isn't even the cursor in
Yeah.
this tournament.
you know
Like
what it is, bro? I'm fake as shit, bro. Like I'll go into a tournament like I told you before. I'll be like, this is what's so crazy. It's like I will look at myself. I almost see the real me as like what I shouldn't be, and I think like, is this who you really are? Blah blah. And I'll trick myself into thinking like, oh, I'm just getting crazy. Let me go into a tournament and be calm, cool, and collected. Like I was saying to you guys before.
The Zen
Right.
year, yeah.
And I can tell you, I can almost guarantee, I don't, because we've had so many tournaments, I kind of lose track of them all. Any tournament that happens is probably like game one, maybe bleeds into game two. By the fucking playoffs, bro, that shit is
I
gone.
think that's exactly what
Right.
happened in BB5, if I remember
I can
correctly.
guarantee that's exactly what.
it's
Like,
just
it's so-
your big moments are so big. That's the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
Like,
which
what
is
was
great.
it? Which tournament was it where you like just completely went off on yourself when you were like playing the outfield?
Oh, you're talking to
Was
yourself
that
now.
4
I
or
think it was
5?
4, I want to say.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
I
bro.
wanna
Right.
say
Well,
4.
there we go. That's what there's the point made right there.
I don't think this is what you're talking about, but like it's very similar to the one clip Jimmy posted. I don't think it was ever like a main page post, but it was when just a video of me throwing a ball and how I would talk to myself afterwards. It was like, "Fuck are you doing, you stupid piece of shit, cunt, motherfucker." Sorry, I don't. It was just like,
That sounds right. That sounds right.
you're probably
That rings
right.
a
Yeah, I'm
bell.
just taking a guess. It sounds so ridiculous. I'll tell you though, this is just trying to explain, and this is why I'm so grateful for this freaking podcast. By the way, I've needed to explain my
Here it
thought
is.
process, and not to like make people think I'm not a psychopath, but just to maybe have them understand I'm a in cases justified psychopath.
Okay.
It's only to do with my own personal failure, and I'll tell you.
Right.
Think back to this, and you guys will agree with this. Good moments, few and far between. You're gonna have to really think back, but between a walk-off homer, if I strike somebody out, you remember a reaction. Probably not, because when I succeed,
Nope.
there's nothing. I
Right,
don't fucking.
right.
Now I'll backflip casually. The walk-off, I didn't know what to do. I just dropped the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not.
It was
I
not
don't
towards
do-
Jimmy, though. It was just an exciting thing for you.
I don't ever
It's never
show up
towards
my
the other guy.
opponent. I'm very much about like. The thing that's coming to my head right now is the traditional Yankee way of like you let your play represent. Now, when I'm
Right.
doing shitty, back to what I said before, that is just reason to freak out.
I think that's a
I'm-
common. That's also very.
I'm
That's what
doing
Jimmy
well.
does too. Jimmy calls himself a fucking loser all the time when he's playing, but he's quiet
And
about his
in
success.
those clips, and that makes me feel better, dude. Jimmy O'Brien, of course. I know that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He been a big part of my like warehouse. Not the Zen chick again. That's fake ass bullshit. That's me being somebody who I'm not. In terms of like taking the breath before like the pitch,
Right.
or even in BB. If you notice in Ball and Play, I'm not sure if you guys watched what was it came out yesterday or game one. It just came
I
out.
watched game 1. Yeah.
Like take a look at me before even throwing one of them pitches, and that's nothing crazy. That's like what speed limit's 40. You just kind of throw the ball.
Right.
I'm taking breaths. I'm like, and Jimmy has been a big help with that. Of like, yo, slow down.
I think I remember that. Yeah, that was a big storyline. I think going into BB5 too, because that was the year they wanted you to cut down curses
Totally.
for the editing team and stuff like that. And I think they wanted the Zen Dan to kind of be a part of you calming down with the cursing a little bit. And I think you mentioned Jimmy being a supporting character for that.
Yeah, which I also got so confused because like every tournament felt like they were asking how much of an impact Jimmy had on me, and I got it wrong every time. Like, are you talking about Jimmy Norp? Are you talking about Jimmy O'Brien?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but no, that's the one thing like that I actually do want to apply of just slowing down because when I really start to freak out, if you guys notice, like I'll get quick, I'll get fast, I'll
Well,
just
that's
like
how you get the yips too. Like I think that's a very common thing for people. Like
bad,
you
dude.
you want to do the next thing before your body. Like your mind's ahead of your body sometimes, and that happens to me in life in general. Sometimes like I'm talking like 2 miles ahead of my mouth can keep up with me, and then that's how you end up fucking mumbling and doing all that shit. But that happens in sports as well.
From yeah, no,
It's a
definitely.
real thing.
And what you said is exactly what happens to me. For me, it's almost not calculated in a sense, but it's a natural response to where if I'm thinking too much, then I revert to this happened. This happens well in real life. If I'm thinking too much, turn off thinking, do whatever comes to mind first.
Hmm.
And if I'm pitching, I know I'm thinking too much, and the yips, we can get into that because that's a big part of my whole life as an athlete.
Yeah.
But I remember when we did this was very kind of like a random thing. I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but we did this a few years ago. We did like a speed blitzball. It was like me,
Yep.
Nikki
Oh
Cass.
yeah, yeah.
It was a random, like one of those like random shits we did in like a December month
Like
or
a training
something.
session type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that would have any post on YouTube, and I actually felt really good pitching.
Yeah.
And the easy explanation as to why is I had no time to think really. It was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
get the ball pitch, and I was throwing strikes.
You the old
And
Colin Stone method.
pretty much, dude. We can talk about Colin Stone too. I'm not gonna get the whole like, oh, he's fucking nasty. He's a great ball player. No shit. Coolest motherfucker in the world. And because yo, we'll get into it. I have a bad habit. Um, yeah, no, like I often will. I guess what I'm trying to say here is like I'm still searching for the middle ground of proper amount of
Mm.
nerves and
Like something like
calmness.
you want to think a little bit on the mound, but you want to turn off your brain at the same time. So, but you want to be somewhere between fully shutting off your brain and pitching really fast, and actually thinking about like maybe what the sequence should be or something.
100%. Like if I'm rushing my shit, like all right, maybe I'm not thinking as much. But kind
But
of
then
your
you're just up
point.
there chucking.
There's
Yeah.
a time where you do want to think. You know,
Yeah.
it reminds me of again tripping everything back to the Yankees. I remember Andy Pettitte before like Game 5 in the World Series saying like you want to have the proper amount of adrenaline and nerves.
Hmm.
One day I will find that balance in my yeah. Tell me where to
We're
finish.
getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
This turned into a full blown psychology pod.
Yeah. Yeah. We're breaking it all
I,
down.
Full
I get
blown.
that shit, bro. I read that. You go down a freaking like a Barnes and Noble self transformation section, bro. I've probably read every book. Not that it does me any good, but I think it's like a box of checks to like tell me I'm trying to be somewhat normal, like I'm trying to be sane.
But it's also interesting because you brought up that you do it to yourself, right? And I'm sure you're the same way. When I used to play soccer, and not like in high school, and this is like when I played in an adults league, and I played defense, right? Whenever I'd make a mistake, fucking tearing myself apart. The second my other center back partner makes a mistake, I'm like, dude, you're good. Like you did all the right things.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody's gonna beat you. It's unbelievable how like different you are towards yourself and towards your teammates.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And man, I don't want to turn into a whole psychology thing, but I could
Too late.
speak
We're here.
length. I guess we get length about that whole thing. I mean, I I hold to that whether it's in the warehouse or my days back of freaking being a junior on JV. Which when I talk about getting hyped for something that like isn't that big of a deal, I'd be in the fucking gym going crazy for my bump days on junior and JV.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
tell you this: I faced the worst team in the fucking league, and there's a reason why I preface this because my junior on JV season, I was nasty, fellas. 1.08 ERA. Let me tell you,
Whoa.
I was JV pitcher of the
What's that
fucking
K for
year in
9,
20.
baby?
But it was pretty much
14.
nothing. It was freshman year. I was a contact guy. I was throwing like 65 in high school. But no, we pretty much we faced the worst team in the league like every time I started. So I just like I was a it was Lakewood, New Jersey. Lakewood, New Jersey. I don't know if you know where that is or not, but they were all the respect awful.
Dog
I
shit.
just I owned them. I had like a no hitter twice against them going into the sixth, and I felt so bad because my boy like both time like technically like blew the no hitter, and by blew it I mean if you hit a ball and you reach base that's technically a hit. So ground
Right.
ball to short, he makes an error, and this was like 2 games in a row. I didn't fucking give a shit. Junior and JV, who cares? But like I saw in my boy the same emotion when I make an error. Like he acted like he just fucking killed somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I'm like, yo, it's all good. It's all good. Because truly, like I'm yapping here, but like that's your teammate. That's your teammate.
Right.
Like you don't got to make him feel bad. And I'll pause again to the Yankees and shit. I think comes to mind is Nestor Cortez. Not calling him out at all. Just a one moment I remember, and I love Nestor, and that's why I bring this up. Remember Matt Carpenter, who was strictly a DH for the Yankees for the most part, but there was a game he
Yeah.
played right field, and like it was a June game while they were fucking. This is when they were going crazy beginning of the 2022 season. They were like 45 games over 500. Things were
Yeah,
going well.
yeah.
Regardless, Matt Carpenter, who's been balling his ass off, and even if he had not been, he made a little blunder error in right field. And I remember seeing Nestor Cortez, and again, just bringing him up because this is what comes to mind. Like he threw his hands up in the air, and like,
Like, dude, that's
hey,
Matt Carpenter was like age 39 at the time or whatever it was.
you don't show up your teammates, you don't
Yeah.
show up your boys, and it's just very at length. I'm yapping right now. I'm fucking getting all over the place. It all comes back to just like when I'm bad, that's what I'm accountable for. You know what I'm saying? Like I freak out when I'm fucking shit in the bed, or
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, my body just doesn't work if I fuck up in the field or do anything. Like, if I remember, I think I've told this story in the podcast before, Peter, but I used to play
Yeah, go
shortstop
for
for like our little travel team. If I make one error, my hands just like, well, if anything's hit to me now, you might as well. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to get off the field because it's just I get so in my
I
head.
say it all the time with like pitching, man. They'll be like, how you feeling today? Like we'll see how my first pitch goes. Because if I throw a strike, ready, motherfuckers. Like I'm on my fucking
Yeah.
shit. Like I'm ready.
Yeah, it's real.
Like one ball. Get my dad on the phone, bro. I need to talk to somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I get the yips so.
For whatever
So
reason,
easy.
like pitching doesn't really bother me as much. I don't get as afraid because pitching's hard. It's my weird logic. I'm like, well, everyone here that can't throw will just
That's
throw
so
5 balls in a row
interesting.
anyway. It's just that's why I started pitching. It's like, well, this is easy to fuck up. So if I'm halfway decent at it, it looks great.
Like with the warehouse, if there's one form of pressure that is applied and it's legitimate, you don't want to walk, guys. Like
Yeah, I get that.
it's one of
I
those
think it would be
things-
different for me on camera with everybody watching. To like, oh, this is like now I'm putting out a bad product. That pressure is different than just like playing in a
right,
league
and
or
it
whatever.
always comes back to like this is my mindset with editing and whatnot. I am so grateful for Jimmy and Jake because like I didn't go to college. I fucking like this has worked out very well, and it could have gone many different avenues that would not
Yeah.
have worked out as well.
Oh, Yankees avenues.
Nice.
Whoa.
Plug.
Whoa.
Like, so it always is my mindset ultimately, if I could break it down like day to day with like the job in this, warehouse is my job too. So it all applies. Like, my best interest is always for Jimmy, Jake, Chris Rose, and Trevor Plouffe. Like, truly, that's
Big four.
I never want to do them wrong. So naturally, and not to make this a big deep thing, but like if I'm walking the world, I'll side eye Jimmy a little bit, and like in my head,
Very.
and he may not even think about this with me because like I don't think I'm the worst offender of it these days. But either way, like they always even in the body of Jack Doyle, who's the best pitcher in the warehouse, or Colin Stone, one walk is even like you kind of feel shitty about.
Yeah.
So, like that's
yeah.
where they get that so much. Like, bro, I can't be walking guys right now, and in part because Brennan, like I know I can get these fucks out.
Right. It's frustrating. I get that.
Colin Stone, 10 walks in BB5, just saying.
Ooh,
Colin Stone,
Yeah. Dan Rourke, 8.
look at that.
that's a podcast, baby.
That's it.
That's it. Shut it down.
Everything I just said about Colin Stone being great, fuck him. Who cares?
Who cares about that rising slider?
You gotta tell me twice, bro. I love it. You guys are awesome. I love this shit.
Thanks, man.
How often do you guys have like a player on every week or what?
So we used to do it a lot more. We got burnt out for a little and had to take like 3-month break or something.
Yeah, we
So-
took off time between like different franchise leagues.
podcast until you get burnt out.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah,
it
sure.
was like we started doing a little too much, but we did essentially when there wasn't a franchise tournament going on and when there wasn't a like captain's league, we used to do the captain's league recap of once captain's league is over, we did the whole thing. When that wasn't happening and when there was no franchise league, we had interview every single week. Right now, we're still on track for that. I think we
pretty
did.
good once we started up again.
Yeah, once we started up, it was Shelfie 2 weeks ago, Ryan last week, you this week.
Yeah.
So we
But you guys just started putting out too much
most
damn
of the
content. It's
guys.
hard to keep up with all the shit
yeah.
you guys do now.
I didn't know you've done stuff with Captain's League too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not we didn't do like episode like game by game for franchise stuff. We do every single game like a Talking Yanks type recap.
Right.
awesome.
We only
But we
did
can't
two
do it for
things for
Captain's
Captain's
League.
League.
Yeah.
We did one for the original ball and play, and then one for slap ball, the original slap ball, and then it just got to be
Okay,
like
I was not to get in your guys' schedule and like doing
no,
Captain League. I'd
no.
be like, imagine that would be fucking crazy too.
Yeah.
Captain's
That would
League
be
was
fun.
nuts.
And after we stopped,
We've
it was great because like,
had-
oh, we can sit down. I can just sit and watch and enjoy this.
Let's
This
see.
is so much more fun, you know.
Who have we
It's a real
had
thing.
on here, Brandy?
I
We've
can
had
say
Jimmy
I can
twice.
do that thought process.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
We've had Jimmy O'Brien twice. We've had Jake. We've had Zoe. We've been trying to get Zoe on for a second one, but like scheduling has been a nightmare for that. We've had
Yeah,
Jack. We've had Dalton.
Busy dude.
We've had Nate, the ref for ball and play.
I was about to say, who
We've
the
had
hell is
Nate on.
Like,
Nate,
I don't know,
been
Nate.
on. We've had Joe's. We've had Lou.
Word,
We've had
okay.
Ryan
I was
Shelby,
gonna ask,
obviously.
I'm like, who do I need to fucking tell? Get on this podcast.
Oh, Drew Davis. We've had Drew on here.
Head Drew.
Word.
Drew.
You get
Fun
K-Mac?
fact.
We've had
We've had
K-Mac. We had
K-Mac.
K-Mac
We've
from the
had
stables.
Colin.
That was a crazy one. He was working out in
A
God knows what
hotel room.
state.
He had a fucking whole sheet cake in his hotel room that he was eating as he was talking to us.
Oh, everything you see with K-Mac on camera, that's how he is in real life, and then some, dude. He is a fucking
Dude,
crazy. He's crazy, yo.
he is
He's
awesome.
I love him to
He
death.
was
We've had
great. He was so funny.
Dan Canobio.
When was that, yo? You've probably spoken to Kenobia more recently than I have. I haven't heard from Kenobia.
Well,
since...
Canobio we had while he was still at the company.
Okay, so I guess not.
I think like it was kind of like right before he left, though.
Yeah.
It was very.
There's
soon before
actually
he left.
there's a funny moment in Blitzball Blitz. Or the final when they were in Billy's. There's a moment where if you rewatch it, which I'm not telling you to because that's a super long video, but when Dan is on the mound, there's a shot of him just like pointing to somebody in the crowd. That's Brendan.
I'm wearing a
Word.
Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys have obviously been in the warehouse before.
Yes,
Yeah,
we have
we
shaken
met
hands
you.
before. We
We met you.
briefly, very briefly.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That?
Not that memorable, I guess. Like, oh.
No, dude. That's a fucking me thing, dude. And also, I was probably what tournament was it? Because I was definitely like again.
That was
I
That was for
Blitzball Blitz.
that was for Blitz. It was like one of the filming days in the warehouse of Blitz, like maybe day
Oh,
2 or
so
day
I was
1.
talking about- I don't think I was even playing on that.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I think you had a camera maybe or something.
I'm a bad guy.
You're a bad dude.
You guys are awesome as shit. This is.
Thanks,
I
Dan.
better come on here for a weekly or something.
Oh, now we're talking. I mean, I have Peter. If you want to wrap up with warehouse stuff, I have a couple Yankee questions. I know I don't want to make Dan go too long, but I have a couple
Jesus
things.
Christ.
Do you have anything
Alright.
warehouse before I jump into
Fuck
Yankee
them
stuff?
fucking Bronx Bombers, all right.
Very brief stuff though. Nothing insane.
For sure.
I know you're a big A-Rod guy. Are you a bigger A-Rod guy than Jeter guy?
Yes. Yes.
So what
Now, let's-
what is
Jeter.
that about?
Sure. Well, let me say, Jeter. I actually I like Jeter a lot. Not that I ever didn't have it. I always loved Jeter. I always loved
Okay,
Jeter. Arrow
okay.
was my guy, and I'll get into that in 2 seconds. Jeter, I've grown to love even more because of how, or you want to say forced, or just overblown, or just fucking irritating the whole he's overrated conversation has gotten into. To where I used to be the dude that thought I was, everybody goes on Fangraphs for the first time, and when they're 14 years old, sees Jeter's DRS, goes to mention, oh my God, he's not actually that great a defender. And I'm telling you this to prove to you I'm a real intellectual about baseball, and I go in the ins and outs, and I'm so smart that I read his DRS page on Fangraphs. And like,
Right.
I was that guy once too. Like I was that kid
Right.
in middle school that wanted to make it clear that I know ball. I do more than just the average. Check MLB.com for my stats. That has gotten so out of hand to where people, if you ask the younger generation, I truly believe, 16-year-old that bases his mindset of baseball off Instagram or Twitter, think you get a ground ball to shortstop Derek Jeter in his prime or even the older days, he's going to boot the ball. I mean, like that's
Right.
just not the case.
It's not what he
Range
did.
wasn't
Right.
great, and that was a much bigger problem towards like the latter part of his career. Like usually referred to as like 2006 onward, the range definitely deteriorated. But when people say Derek Jeter was a bad shortstop, it drives me insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So for that reason, it's the whole he's overrated talk. I've become like more of a Jeter guy again. Not that I ever wasn't. As for A-Rod, Yank Sav doesn't exist without him. I'm not here, doesn't it, in terms of Yankees stuff, if not for
Right.
A-Rod. And I can't even, in a way, say exactly why in terms of like a starting point. But for those who do watch me that may be watching this and know about like kind of my history, my first season watching was 2011 season, and it was weird. It kind of just like happened. I came home off the bus. My dad said,
That's crazy.
We got Papa John's pizza in the garage is where like our big TV was. If you want to like watch a movie or something big important, you watch in the garage on like a big screen. It's like a hangout garage. We got pizza. There's Papa John's. I remember it was ham, pepperoni, and sausage on the thing. Had a
Hey, we
Coke.
talked about this
on
before.
it. March 31st.
Perfect. Full circle. There
March
you
31st,
go.
March 31st, 2011. Yankees won 6-3.
Yeah.
Deep, Blair won deep. CC won 6 innings. Quality start. Oh, got the save. So, anyways, it was just a thing. March 31st. That was the first time being a true Yankee fan watching every day. And the reason I mention this so specifically is because like my obsession with A-Rod, I don't know exactly what it is.
I think 2011 is a funny time to become
I
obsessed
remember,
with A-Rod.
yeah, like I can give you more details on that game. Who gives a shit? But like he hit a double off the wall, right center field in like 2011. Like every single game, I would be so obsessed with A-Rod and what he did. And I think part of it is because, and this is why I love sports and baseball in general. It's the only thing, and you could relate this to that sick ass picture of Luka back playing against the Mavericks with the GM in the crowd in that picture. Like it's
Yeah.
the only thing that you can at least get somewhat of a kind of real life comparison to like a movie or cinema or a comic book. Like sports is like a real life soap opera in a way, and to relate it back to A-Rod, everything he did was always so fascinating that I think subconsciously I was drawn to him, whether it was when he was doing well, little things like and this I was aware of when I started to really become a big fan. I obviously didn't watch it in live time, but in '09 comes back from the hip injury, first fucking pitch, 3-run bomb to left
Yeah,
field,
I
and it
I
was
remember that. Yeah.
like and like
Crazy.
say what you will about him, like that's badass. And
It is.
the '09 postseason and everything he did just seemed to have some sort of like aura behind it, which I don't like the word aura itself. Like I think it's very like
Right.
Twitter word. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's overused at this
Yeah.
Said
point.
about, and now I'm gonna get crazy with it because I'm a big Star Wars fan. Me and my friend group, we always call badass moments, whether it be like Patriots down 20-3 in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady's head down, like shots like that, or the Luka moment, or kind of the way I'm talking about A-Rod as Anakin moments, Anakin Skywalker moments. And just not get too far off base here, so everybody understands who may not
So
be
you like
Star
you
Wars.
really grew up with the prequels. Like that's your shit. Episode 1, 2, 3.
100%.
Yeah.
Like there's something about sports that I can just like look at through a cinematic lens. I love the storylines. I love the narratives. I love just like the badass shit. A-Rod, I think, was like my first exposure to that in a way because everything he did was just box office, good or bad, and the majority was bad. Yo, like unfortunately, for being the biggest A-Rod fan in the world, I started watching again 2011. That was after '09. That was
Right.
2 years before Biogenesis.
You picked a bad time.
No, I was sending it was A-Rod the second go around, and this drives me insane. He did this, the second go around with PEDs, biogenesis, in 2010 to 2012 is what's on the record that he used. I was sending the MFer, God bless him, I don't mean to call him an effer, but I was sending letters to Yankee Stadium saying, "I know you're innocent, bro. I love you."
Aw,
I was
that's
I've
adorable.
done that 14 years old, sending A-Rod letters, and I know you're innocent, man. Like I'll see you opening day, blah blah blah.
That's
And until
crazy.
like the fucking DEA said he did it, I was
Right.
like, I
He's
was
he's your
there.
man through and through. I get it.
Goodbye. 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, I wonder if it's something with a timer or something like that.
Oh, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
I would finish my A-Rod point, so just in time. You got me?
You're back.
Yeah,
You're
we
back.
got you.
Anyways, just to wrap all that up, like sports, the Yankees, A-Rod is definitely like I don't know. I think I kind of explained the way I feel, but
Yeah,
just,
no, that's an interesting.
No.
That's a
That's so
very
crazy.
interesting way into like Yankee super fandom. It's great. So were you like at all? Were you like a regular fan before 2011? Like just like watching games here and there?
yes, but only because I was on the Yankees in the Little League, and I'll admit, please clip this by all means, but it's not what people think. Like I was technically at one point like a Mets fan technically too, because I was on the Mets.
Wow.
I was like at 6 years old. I was on the Mets in Little League.
I get
so
it.
I'm
Sure.
totally
No, I
missing it.
know,
I
I
wasn't
know.
on shit,
Yeah.
It really wasn't until no, I'll say 2010 ALCS against the Rangers. I remember watching that with my dad in the garage. And maybe that's something to where I don't remember, but it got me set up to start watching in 2011. But like that is when I think back to my baseball, like the start of all this my Instagram fan page,
Yeah.
2011. 2011.
Okay.
That was
That's so crazy. You're the first guest on the show that's made me feel old.
yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
this
honestly,
is
I'm not even that young pup anymore though, man. I'll tell you, I used to feel that with John Boy. Like when I first got brought on, I wasn't even 21 yet. I was 20, and it was a whole thing like Dan's turned 21, or even a couple years past. I'm the young guy in the office. Pete,
Yeah,
I
been
mean, I
around for a
appreciate
little
you
bit.
saying it, but I'm turning 25 in May, dude.
Damn.
Listen, that doesn't make me feel any younger, Dan.
I feel pretty good.
I just,
I was telling
like,
you before the show, dude. There's gonna come a point, and this goes for all of us, dude, where you're 30 right now. I'm 24.
32.
5 years from now, or you said you're 30?
I'm
32.
30. I'm 30.
You're 30. You're 32.
Yeah.
Smell you later.
It kind of makes for a funny bit,
Fuck
though.
off.
Kind of makes for a funny bit every time.
I think you're right about the.
I wonder. Yeah, we've got some
Because I'm sending the temp links.
permanent one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
sorry, Dan.
I don't know what's happening. It might be on my end because
No,
It's-
because we had the same issue with. Was it Shelfie too? We had it with Ryan last week, and we had it with Shelfie. We're thinking that it's us sending the links for everybody to join.
Maybe it's got to be a permanent link.
I did have to create a new account. That's what I was saying. For
Interesting.
5 years, we'll all want to go back and look the way we did now.
No, yeah.
Like,
No,
we're all-
it's just
we're all-
crazy though, because like you say this right. My favorite Yankee, not named Mariano Rivera ever, is Alfonso Soriano. Right? Why? Because one of my first memories of watching the Yankees was in the 2000 playoffs. And it's like, oh, he comes up. Whoa, what's this rookie going to do? And he fucking cranks a home run. I was like, this is my guy. I like had my dad. I was playing third base in Little League. And I was like, Dad, switch me to second right now. I need to play second just like Alfonso Soriano. All this stuff.
Dan's a little bit older, too, as a person when he starts watching, like, religiously, too.
Right.
That's another thing. I was late. I technically was late. I mean, more often than not, if somebody's big into baseball or any sport for that matter, it's not 11 years old when they're first starting. I mean, I'm jealous of you, Peter. I mean, think about it. Like, I'm not in a good spot. I started after all the good shit. So I didn't. I can't even claim
sucks.
09. I really can't. Like, I'll say I'm alive for it.
No,
If I'm gonna use that, I'll say 2000 technically as well.
You came during the drought.
Like, dude, yeah. Like, again, go back to the A-Rod thing. I started being the biggest A-Rod fan in the world 2 years before he fucking got in on the biggest steroid scandal of all time.
I mean, to go back to my question, you sort of did answer it by saying, like, oh, that kind of makes sense because Jeter was no longer, not that it was no longer, he wasn't really the Jeter that I grew up with anymore by 2011, but neither was A-Rod. So I don't know if you answered right. It's a crazy answer still to the question.
I got the resurgent years that, like, I don't want to keep talking about 2011 season.
I asked.
After that, so December of that year, after Christmas, after my first full year watching, I got like a big Yankeeography box set, and that's where I was just all in, and I was putting up and everything. I totally knew the history. So I mean, of course, I knew who Derek Jeter was, and like I knew he was a good shortstop.
Right.
What was awesome though, for somebody who did start so late and was a fan of these players, and you can include Mark Teixeira with this when it comes to 2015. Like I saw resurgent years that was kind of like, all right, you missed out on their prime, but we'll give you a little bit of a taste.
Right.
So like
you get a taste of the
2012 for
legend.
Derek Jeter. Yeah, like 2012, Jeter had the comeback year where he had over 300, 200 hits, and it was like, all right, like I'm getting a little something to Derek Jeter here. And another big season for me, 2015, because especially from A-Rod, but Teixeira too, but really from A-Rod, I longed for the days quite quickly come 2013 when the Yankees didn't make the playoffs, and that to me was like, what do you mean? Like I almost like falling on my knee.
Like I signed up for this team that like goes to the World Series every year, and I haven't seen it yet. What's going on?
A thought in my head. Like maybe you contend for the wild card, not the division. But as far as I was concerned, you're the Yankees, you make the playoffs. So quite quickly, it went from all right. I have the latter year of the dynasties that I technically grew up on as my first two seasons watching in 2011 and 2012. Then 2013 happened, and 2014 happened, and 2 years missing the playoffs. A-Rod's suspended. Jeter's hurt with the ankle. Jeter's nowhere to be found. Like all of a sudden, everything went to shit real quick. And then 2015, even the way it ended in a sense, like getting to the playoffs. I know they got bounced by the Astros in the wild card game, but getting back to the playoffs and mainly
that was Keuchel game.
A-Rod, yeah, fuck him. Sorry, then that's your reaction.
Good answer. Good answer.
I'm right there with you.
A-Rod hitting 33 home runs, and again to share it too, it was kind of like I would say like God give me one last taste of like what I grew up on at the time, just a few years ago. It was like A-Rod hitting third, Teixeira hitting fourth, 30-plus home runs, Yankees in the playoffs. It was kind of like a little – so, I mean, I still had the moments of their latter careers that were successful to kind of get a taste of it again and appreciate it.
Those are the kind of players, too, that made me think that all old guys are productive until they're 40, which is just not the case at all.
Yeah. No, I know. And with Judge in 17, like, and the baby bombers, that was huge for me because, in a way, I feel and felt/feel like Cheat is a Yankee fan, and that sounds very, like entitled, like who gives a shit. But like with Judge, I feel grateful too because I mean, what are the odds? You know, every generation of Yankee fan, whether you want to say like my dad with whoever the hell. I mean, you could go with you guys with Jeter and the
Yeah.
'90s teams. My dad, whether it be Thurman or fucking whoever the hell. Like, you can go back to Mantle, DiMaggio, great grandpa with Ruth, whatever the hell. Like, everybody had their legend, all
Right.
that. And while I still will, say, I mean, I'm getting cheated out of giving one shit, and it is frustrating.
Yeah, at least you get
I
to
have
watch
my
like one of the
legend.
best hitters ever too.
Yeah, like I have my legend in Judge, and
Yeah, yeah,
holy shit, do I have it? I mean, he's,
yeah. One of the
in my opinion, the
best.
greatest hitter of all time when you factor. And I'm not just saying that to have a take. I mean, you
Hey, no,
factor in pitching he's faced,
it's true.
factor in obviously he's doing it clean, games that I
You're
mean
not wrong.
iterations whatever you want to do. So I mean, and that's unfortunately I have to apply the caveat of regular season because he has to conquer the
Yeah,
playoffs.
sure, sure.
But I will say, fellas,
Still has 700
career,
plus OPS.
career 835 OPS in the World Series.
Whew.
Do with that what
It's not dog shit. It's not dog shit.
no, it ain't. It's only 4 games, bro, but or 5 games. But
Man, it's also
that's
crazy how much
last
you
thing on the
know,
Yankees.
like from back in
Last
the
thing I'll
day.
say on Game 5, really quick. It's so annoying. Sorry to cut you off, but
No, no, you're
if
good.
the Yankees had won that Game 5, bro, Judge was getting hot. Judge was
I
getting hot,
know.
man.
No, I
Respect
agree.
LA.
If we had more games, he might have turned it on all the way.
Could have caught the ball in center.
Yeah. No, it's always crazy to me the kind of brain that certain, like a lot of you guys at Jam too, have like the trivia type brain, because you, like you said, you started watching this sport in 2011 and you just went back and learned everything. It's like, I'm interested. I don't want to learn all the history of this shit. It's just not
Right.
how my
Yeah.
brain works. It's so crazy that you're so interested that you wanted to do that. It's just cool. It's interesting to me.
Not how
Yeah.
you're Brenda. You got stuff like that too. You're just not on camera.
I don't think I do. I don't know any facts.
Yeah,
No facts.
nobody thinks that they do, right? Nobody ever thinks that they do. I got like that with soccer, and I don't ever notice it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I kind of know, but like it a little bit. Then we'll get into like a conversation with a guy from England, and he'll be like, "Holy shit, how do you fucking know every one of this club's managers, and it's not even a team you support?"
Right. Right. Dude, the floor knowledge
The
of
same
sports
thing.
for people who are like in the scene even slightly is like very impressive. So what
Mhm.
you're saying, I mean, like you are even in America, at least I would assume that's the only place I've ever been. So obviously, but like, dude, even like the average Joe you just stumble into, there's a chance like they're gonna know enough sports to, like the old saying goes, enough sports to get by at a cocktail party. Like you at least have
Right.
Sure.
some sort of foundation, and if you're even like remotely, I feel like engaged in what's going on, and then for me, obviously MLB, it's like a very high level with the Yankees. Like there's a lane for you to just fucking you could talk somebody's ear off.
Yeah.
You could be,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a very like amazing thing about sports is that like kind of gives you in a way, and I guess this applies to myself. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't think clearly it's on my fucking wall. Like it's kind of my
Yeah.
identity. Like I am Yanks Av, like I'm East fan, like I'm like Blitzball, whatever it is. Like it's kind of like who I am, and
Right.
in a way, I'm grateful for it, fellas. Because if not for the Yankees, as sad as it sounds, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm teaching like history in some high school or some shit.
Sure.
And
But you're Davis.
Not a
you know,
bad thing.
God bless those kids, but I don't think that's the right path.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's awesome. It gave you what you have right now. It's pretty awesome to be able to say that. And soon you'll be bringing in all the money with those jersey sales too.
Yeah, man. If I ever start, after hitting the ball, one day.
Oh,
All right.
man.
I have my one last silly question.
One last silly question, and then 10 more serious ones.
Yes. Maybe 11.
Or that game. I'm game.
All right. Would you rather have Aaron Judge actively hate you or be banned from Yankee Stadium for life?
That's a good ass question. Well, I don't know if you know this, but Aaron Judge has me blocked on Instagram.
Huge.
I got too
massive.
close to the truth.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, it's so. I do have to explain this because it sounds so bad. It's bad. It's annoying. We had actually a beef like through John Boy a couple years back. Now, I can tell this is public on the record. It was a thing where, so long story short, there was a miscommunication to where, remember IKF and it was really bad a couple years ago where he was
Oh,
getting
yeah.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And truly, long story short, because this is all I'm aware of, is somebody was saying something about him on Twitter, and it wasn't one of us. It was, like I know for a fact it wasn't one of
Yeah.
us, but
Yeah.
IKF's dad got involved.
Oh my
Where
God.
like he
Mm.
felt, and I'm sure. Listen, am I gonna deny the fact that somebody in the Yankees universe threatened IKF's life over his poor shortstop
That
capabilities?
sounds like a super.
I wouldn't
fan
rule it
of-
out. It
yeah,
wasn't
right.
one of us. I think it was something to do with we certainly weren't kind to IKF, and this is definitely going to the weeds, I know, but like there was some sort of miscommunication where like Judge thought we said something like legit bad about IKF, and like he blocked one of the John Boy accounts.
Mm.
And there's a feature on Instagram for those who don't know that is like block this account and any account they may create. But what that does is, say I create an Instagram right now that's fucking Billy Bob's farts. If I
Yeah.
happen to be logged into John Boy Media or
It's
whatever,
already
account that was
taken by
blocked,
Brendan, obviously.
you get blocked too. So like my not only is Yank Sav blocked by Instagram or by Judge for that reason, my Finsta that I created in sophomore year of high school is technically blocked by not even kidding,
Sure.
blocked by Aaron Judge. He hit the so I think I would say he hates me, but also was very relieved to see to this day, like when Jimmy and Jake were kicking with him the other day, like, all right, word. So Judge doesn't hate us.
Wow, I
It's like,
didn't know any of that.
I'm his guy. Like I've done a war for the MFer and still will.
I think
but
you guys
no,
were
to
also
answer your
weren't
question-
that mean to IKF, but maybe I only listened to Talking Yanks and they're pretty like diplomatic about that sort of stuff. Maybe there's other stuff I didn't see, but I feel like you guys weren't that bad to a guy like who kind of struggled.
And like I mean, nobody else. I mean, they're all great. I don't think they said anything bad.
You just tell them facts.
I don't. When it comes to Yankees, bro, like I don't really roast Yankees. I'll roast one thing, and that's effort. And there's one player that comes to mind. That's Ronald Guzman. I'm not sure if you guys even know Ronald Guzman, but a couple years
I don't
ago,
know if
made
I
this Yankee debut. Total piece of shit, and I have no problem saying it. Yankee debut a couple of years ago. Yeah, dude, it was like a big moment. Debuted, pinch hit in like the ninth or
Oh.
something. He ground ball to
Yeah,
back
yeah.
pitch, knocked that shit out.
Yes.
His Yankee debut. It was a double play
I
ball.
didn't
like,
even
end of the-
recognize his name. Yeah, I remember that.
That shit. It was against the Twin, and thank God for Gary Sanchez at the time. He walked it off later that game, but I don't. That's the only time I think I've ever like truly criticized the Yankees. It comes with like effort, attitude. Otherwise,
He never saw another game, right?
No,
With the
hell no.
Yankees, no.
I don't know where he's at right now, bro, and I wish him the worst. But yeah, no, like when it comes to Yankees, like I'll defend until death. Like if you're playing hard, if as long as you're putting effort in, bro, like you're my guy. You know what I'm saying? But no, to answer your question, I still haven't done that yet.
Wait, but right now you're not blocked right now. You are blocked still.
It's unblocked.
It's unblocked.
Yeah, it's like been since like 2022. It's annoying.
Way to bring it up, Brendy.
It's not personal, fellas. It's not personal. I think honestly, I'll give you banned from Yankee Stadium because I don't really go to that many games to begin with. Because I do the.
I was
watch
gonna
parties
say
all the
because you
time.
still get to watch at home. But the thing is, when you're
dude,
watching
I
from
like
home,
watching
still
from
like
home.
Aaron Judge will make sure that he like has the announcers like curse you out before the game starts.
They did that. Honestly, I'd be like, okay,
Like I made it, I guess.
That would be a sense of importance.
Sure, yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
That's how I rationalize everything. So even though I'd be actually crying, I'd be like, you know what? There's a silver lining to all this.
I get this
Right.
every game. It'll grow the brand.
Exactly.
That's crazy,
So funny.
man.
Yeah, I try to go to like one game a year. It's getting too expensive, right? Like when I was growing up, my dad worked in New York City, so every once in a while he'd go by Yankee Stadium when he was in the Bronx, and if you had a MasterCard at the time, you could get tickets for $5. So he'd just get a fuck ton of tickets for $5, and me and my brothers would go to like maybe 15 games a year.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
you're sitting all the way
Still,
up.
but you're there. Yeah.
Right.
There's not. I'll tell you, there's not a bad seat in the stadium though. Like I
No, this was the old stadium too.
never been biggest regret of my life because I wasn't.
Well,
wasn't
I
in
mean,
the
how
know
could
by-
you?
You were a Met
Right,
fan back then.
exactly.
technically
The old
right.
stadium was but like then the new stadium is like, oh, it's so much more expensive. They're $6 a ticket now. But like you're still sitting all the way up, which is
Yeah.
completely totally fine. There
It's
were
not the ticket prices though, bro. It's like how much expensive everything.
If you want to do
else is, though.
anything
Yeah.
else, yeah.
Like
Right.
yeah, like if you want to eat a chicken tender, you have to go to the fucking ATM. It's like
right.
right.
Well, that's exactly what
You
it
gotta
is.
fill
It's
up on
like,
halal outside before you go in.
so I'm a season ticket holder for the soccer team that plays there too, right? So me and my wife were like going this Saturday. We go to almost every game. Bro, we're like, we need to make sure we either eat super early before the game or we eat like at midnight when we get back home.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. But
it's more like I will like I'll go in, but it's because I only like that's part of what goes in the mindset of like I'm only going to one game a year. So when I do, it's like I'm gonna get the chicken bucket, I'm gonna do all that.
Right.
Like yo, if I was having to go, like it'd be cool to go if I could own my
Right.
body, and I really do like watching the game at home for Yanks Ave purposes. But I would not be able to go to forget every game or just like get my guy Keith. You guys know Keith McPherson.
I don't know.
He goes
No.
to games like he's on WFAN. He used to be with us at John Boy, but he goes to basically every single home game.
Wow.
I'm
Where
thinking,
does
yo,
he
like
live in the city though?
he does, and like
Yeah, so it's a lot easier. Like, for me at least going to Yankee Stadium, I found the best way. I live in North Jersey, right? The best way is to like drive to Tarrytown and take the train
Oh wow.
because it stops at Yanks 183rd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you just walk in there and it's like, okay, this is fine, I guess, but you still got to pay the train toll. And then it's usually me and my wife who go. So that's another like $22 for the train ticket to get
Yeah,
in.
me taking the train, I'd have to take the LIRR and then 2 different
Yeah.
subways, and it takes an hour
You
and a
go
half at
to
least.
Penn to take the subways.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
just drive it.
I would do the path in, and then I just hop on the D, I guess. But if you're just doing like tickets only, and that's all you're going to the game, word.
You could do it. Yeah, you could do it.
Right.
But I'd like
Because then if you park, now it's $60 to park at the stadium.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's yeah,
And not to
exactly.
mention driving the city, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't get to hear the announcer. I like hearing the announcers. I like hearing Michael Kay.
I truly love watching on TV, especially
Yeah.
like game one of the playoffs. I usually always watch at home. There's something about it, man. And you know what, too? I wonder how you guys feel about this. You hear is exclusively calling opening day for the Yankees, March 27th on ESPN.
Peter Del Rey.
Peter Del Rey.
I'm doing it.
Word out, dude. A lot of people actually would much rather prefer that than who it actually is. I am a big fan of this guy, actually, Joe Buck. Back in
I
baseball.
did hear this.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a Joe Duck. Joe Duck. Oh, jeez. I guess I don't like him.
I think baseball.
I don't love him. I don't get the hate.
Yeah, I think I fall somewhere in that same range, Peter.
Yeah.
I used to not like him all that much, but there's something about like.
But then
really
Bob
the lack
Costa
of-
showed up this year, and I was like, he's definitely the worst.
Well, the problem with Casas is the pitch clock doesn't work for him because he's such a storyteller. That
Yeah, but I don't want to hear any of
the
the stories either.
Rude,
Yeah.
Brendan. You're
He's-
rude
he's-
and you're an asshole. He's trying his best.
I want him to shut the
He's
hell up.
lost his fastball a little bit. And
Yeah.
he's just slipping every single year. I'll tell you who is good though. I do like not Joe Davis, not a fan, but
Get him out of here.
Ryan Anderson on TBS. He's good.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's like the last like big game national.
I
voice of
enjoyed
baseball.
him. But I think with Joe Buck, I enjoy him because he reminds me of like his voice brings me like nostalgia of big games too. That's
100%.
why the one reason I'll enjoy him. But Brian
I
Anderson's
was
great.
really getting excited about, or what made me think about it, especially was when he did an NFL playoff game. I guess maybe it was on ESPN like a month ago,
Mhm.
whatever it was, a couple months ago. You just like you're kind of saying, like you hear his voice,
Like, oh shit, we're
your
here.
brain is supposed to like it's a big fucking game.
Yeah,
like
no,
you
it's
just
true.
want to like throw a bet on it or some shit. You're
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
That's why like for the opening day will make me. It's gonna kind of fuck me up a little bit. Like, whoa, it's April or it's March. Like, I can't be hearing Joe Buck.
Well, yeah, no, that I agree with in the fact of why the hell is it not on Yes? I think that's the first time in my life.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that's it. Yeah,
like that I'm pissed about. But like once with the knowledge that it's gonna be on ESPN, I'll take Joe Buck because dude, ESPN's baseball has been. I'm gonna get into this, but they've not had that. They have
Whatever.
not had that
We don't got to deal with him.
area down by any means over the last few years. Dude, some of that baseball back in the day used to be the shit, man. Like Joe Morgan, John Miller, like that was.
I like David Cohn.
I love David Cohn.
It's awesome, but
He's
yo,
amazing.
I'm sorry, Carl Ravitch and Eduardo Perez aren't.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
Right.
that's the way I feel at least.
David Cohn is, I think, my favorite announcer right
Dan used to
now.
produce the show.
Another like awesome moment of like shit's sick is just once a year, I will get a text since the podcast ended. It could be like my birthday, sometimes just random. Like David Cohn would be like, "How you doing, Dan? Just checking in."
That's sick. That's fucking
That's
awesome.
so nice.
That's awesome.
What a
Fuck you.
nice guy.
Makes my day. Like,
I'd be beaming. That's amazing.
no, dude, he's awesome. He's awesome. And Shackle too, which I think Shackle's now doing something new.
Shaq's cool.
Yeah, Shaq's awesome, man. And James Smythe, researcher, I guess they're
Yeah,
I
I
talked
guess.
to him a minute in terms of like consistent communication because it was about a year ago that the podcast ended, or maybe even longer. But no, that was cool. That was like one of the moments in my jam career. I was just like, "Wait, you want me to do what? Produce David Cohn's podcast?"
It's amazing.
Yes,
I
sir.
love when they would have you chime in. It was always the best.
Yeah, man, that was always funny to me because it's like, want to hear my opinion? But okay.
I think you even said that in an episode before. Like, are you sure you want to hear me talk? Like, yeah, Dan.
Oh, dude. David Cohn said, "You speak?" Okay. Sure.
All right, Pete, you want to wrap things up before we go too long on our YouTube?
Sure. If you guys want to hear Dan Rourke talk, what should they be drinking, Brendan?
Drink Subtle Tea is a drink made by me. You can find it at thesubtletea.com. Use code HoppyBoys for $2 off your order. You can listen to my other podcast, The Hoppy Boys, wherever you get your podcasts. Watch it on YouTube as well. And you can watch this very show on the Blitzball Boys YouTube channel. Watch this, watch our other interviews, especially enjoy this particular episode with our guy, Dan Rourke. Thanks again for doing this.
I got to get on that podcast too, by the way. Like
Hell
you were
yeah,
saying.
absolutely. We've got to review those Whataburgers.
Yeah,
I don't drink beer, but
that's fine. They don't
These are
always do
perfect.
beer.
We don't always.
They have.
We can also try to convince you to like beer too.
They do dry months. They've done wine before.
We've reviewed water before.
They've done water all throughout fucking December. They did a whole advent calendar. Brendan did like whiskeys and then random beers. This month
for a wine night, we're gonna have ourselves a fucking time.
Now
right,
we're
boys.
talking. Okay.
This month is what, Brendy?
Oh, you're right. Oh shit, it is. This is Malt Madness. This is our March Madness beer tournament. So we have an episode a week coming out every week. Listen up, it's the fifth tournament. Check it out. We got, I'll list them off. I'll list it off the
These used to be
this year.
insane. In the past, this is what, 4 or 5?
This is number 5. This is the big.
This is 5. So the first one had 4 beers in it. The next 3 had what?
32.
32?
So we have
32 beers in it.
Yeah, 8.
So what do you
4
mean?
regions.
This one. This is Malt Madness.
Malt Madness.
They do a March Madness tournament where they bracket out 8 per bracket, and then they'd get a guest. So like last year I was on, like for the past 3 years, I've been on as like a guest for one of the brackets, and then we go 1 to 8 and then see who gets to the finals. And then there's a live finals.
That's fucking badass.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So we condensed it a little bit this year.
Beer drinking, and you fucking actually like compete against each other.
No. The beers. It's which beer is best. So they they do.
Yeah, we don't like fight each other.
Oh, that's hype. I'm so down. The idea of that makes me want to like beer. Which I'll tell you, one time I had a beer that was decent. I think it was like a cider or whatever. It was we did a live show in LA with Beatsy, Rose and Plouffe, and it was like at a bar. And
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brendan was there.
Took a red eye back home. I want to get out of there so fucking quick. I'm not a West Coast. Yeah,
Colin was telling us about that a little bit.
LA, and it was like the one. Of course, the one day I go to LA in my lifetime, it was like fucking 55 and cloudy.
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yeah, come on. But no, the dude was like, if you don't like it, obviously it doesn't cost you nothing. Give it a try. And again, I think it was a cider. The dude, like the conversation we had would lead you to believe like he was giving me my first like beer that I would like, and it was good.
Yeah.
There might be hope for me yet.
Hey, Dan, I not to spoil anything. If you do come on the podcast, my gateway drug for beer was a cider. So maybe that's your ticket in. I don't know.
Gateway me, baby. True. I'm always fucking down for another vice.
True.
That's the spirit.
Word up.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Dan, for coming on and talking to us. Like Brendan said, follow us on YouTube. Follow Brendy on Twitter at Ruppy Puppy. Follow Peter on Twitter at Peter Posk. Follow Dan on Twitter at Dan Allen Rourke. Follow Yankees Avenue on Twitter. Do it all, guys. Buy Dan's jerseys.
Guys, right?
Get him
Buy the jerseys.
cash.
Yeah.
I
follow both you guys on Twitter, right? Let's fucking make sure that.
So.
Yes.
I'm a piece of shit on social media.
It's true. We can attest.
It's been a blast, though, guys. For real, I'm down to come back on. Especially once I win and like I'm actually good. Can we? Do this again?
Oh, spoiler!
In a couple of years.
Blitzball Battle 6, Wooga's Championship. We got it here first, everybody. Brendy, ask me the question.
Got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
Peace.
Bye.